All right, let's talk trading. You can have the best strategy in the world, but if you don't have the guts to pull the trigger, well, what's the point? Today, we are going to master one of the most powerful entry signals out there, the kind that pros use to get that rock-solid confidence. Let's do this. So, what's the absolute hardest part of trading? I think we all know the feeling. You're staring at the chart, your heart's pounding, you can just feel a big move is coming, but then you freeze up, all because of one single question. Yep. When do I actually get in? That split second of hesitation is where so many trades are lost before they even begin. It costs you money, it costs you confidence. So our mission today is simple. We're going to swap that hesitation for a crystal clear, high confidence signal. So here's the game plan. We'll kick things off by really digging into that entry dilemma that drives every trader crazy. Then we're going to get surgical and dissect the anatomy of our secret weapon, the engulfing pattern. After that, and this is crucial, we'll learn the one big rule that separates the real signals from the fakes. We'll look at how it works for both buys and sells, and then to wrap it all up, I'll show you the pro-level strategy to absolutely nail your entries. All right, let's really put ourselves in that moment. You're zoned in, watching the candles paint on the screen, one after another. But it just looks like a chaotic mess, right? It's all just noise. So the real question is, how do you slice through all that chaos and find a signal you can actually bet your money on? This is where the engulfing pattern comes in. It is the tool for spotting a major shift in the market. And this is a big but. Here's the trap so many people fall into. Not all engulfing patterns are the real deal. Most traders honestly have no idea how to tell a powerful, high-probability setup from a worthless fake-out. And that difference? That's exactly what we're going to master right now. Okay, so before we can become expert fake spotters, we gotta know what a real one looks like inside and out. We need to understand its DNA. So let's break down the core components. And you know what? It's probably a lot simpler than you think. Fundamentally, an engulfing pattern is just a two-candle story. That's it. The whole plot is this. The body of the second candle completely swallows or engulfs the body of the one before it. What does that tell you? It's screaming that there's been a sudden, powerful shift in momentum. But the real magic, the secret sauce, is all in the details of that second candle. And that brings us to the word of the day, folks, marabozu. That's the technical name for that big, beefy, powerful second candle in our pattern. Think of it as the power candle. Its shape, its size, its entire vibe tells you everything. Is this a real signal you should trade, or is it just more noise? Honestly, everything, and I mean everything, rides on this marabozu. Okay, everybody lean in. This next part is the absolute heart of this whole thing. If you only take away one single thing from our time together, please make it this. There is one dead simple rule that will be your shield separating a killer trade from a painful trap. And here it is, the golden rule. For an engulfing pattern to be valid, to be powerful, the body of that big second candle has got to be way bigger than its wicks. A huge body screams commitment. It tells you buyers or sellers are playing for keeps. But if you see long wicks, that's a huge red flag. It's indecision. It's weakness. That's a failed pattern, and your job is to run the other way. Just burn this into your brain. Body is greater than wicks. Simple. All right, now that we have our golden rule, body over wicks, let's put it to work. We'll start with the fun stuff, the patterns that scream buy opportunity. Let's decode the bullish engulfing. So a bullish engulfing is basically the market yelling that the buyers are storming the castle. But for this signal to have real teeth, location is everything. It has to show up in what we call a key demand zone. That's a price level where we know buyers have jumped in with force before. And as you can see, it doesn't really matter what the first candle looks like. It could be a tiny red one, a doji, whatever. The story ends the same way, with a massive green candle whose body completely dwarfs its wicks. That's the confirmation. That's the takeover. Okay, time to flip the coin. The exact same logic, the same golden rule applies when we're hunting for a reason to sell or short. We're just looking for the evil twin, the bearish engulfing pattern. And this is where you really see the beautiful symmetry of the market. These bearish patterns are perfect mirror images of the bullish ones. They pop up at a key supply zone, a price ceiling where sellers have historically slammed the brakes on rallies. The rule? It's exactly the same, just flipped upside down. You get a monster red marabozu candle, its body just swallowing everything, its wicks tiny. That's the signal. The sellers are in charge now. Okay, so you've done the hard work. You spotted a valid pattern, body bigger than the wicks, and it's in the perfect location. Awesome. But hold on. A pro doesn't just mash the buy button right away. Nope. This is where we get into the advanced stuff, the technique that really separates the pros from the proud. But first, a quick heads up on time frames. This little trick works best on something like a 5-minute or a 15-minute chart. If you go any lower, it just gets way too chaotic, too noisy. We need to give the pattern a little room to breathe, let the market settle and give us that perfect sniper entry. So here's the secret sauce, the pro move. Instead of jumping in the second that big candle closes, you do the opposite. You wait, you take a breath, you mark the absolute high and the absolute low of that whole two-candle pattern. Then, you calculate the 50 to 60% zone of that range. Why? Because the price will very often pull back into that little pocket before taking off. And that is where you calmly place your limit order to get in. Now, why would we do all this? It's all about one thing: risk management. It's a game changer. By getting in on that pullback, your stop loss, which you'd place just below the low of the pattern, is suddenly way, way smaller. And because you got a better entry price, your potential profit on the trade just got a whole lot bigger. This little trick completely juices your risk to reward ratio. This right here is how you trade like a pro. And this really gets to the heart of the philosophy here. This isn't just another pattern in your toolbox. As the Candle King himself says, engulfings are the future of entry. Engulfings will be on the top, always on the top. I mean, that's not just a casual observation. That is a powerful statement about how much you can rely on this pattern. So there you have it. We've just walked through the entire blueprint, from spotting the pattern to executing the trade like a seasoned pro. All the knowledge is yours now. The only question left is, the next time you're staring at a chart, are you going to be able to see the signal through the noise?